Hey guys, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Yes, it's your boy. Obviously you know it. DARKI. I'm sure you know it's double E. Hope you guys are doing fine. How was your day at work? COBD, close of business day. What this means is the fact that everyone is finding their square roots back to their houses. For some media persons, the day is just beginning. So for you, how's your day like? Is it just beginning for you, or obviously you have closed for the day and then you're going to work? Anyway, whatever it is, make sure you're fine and make sure you're doing the best for yourself. Anyways, straight up to the live news where I bring you updates concerning music, and that is across the country. Davido has done it again. This time he has taken Pokoli and introduced him to some great persons you cannot think of. All of those news, I'll bring them to you in a bit. Moving on, begin with Davido. We saw for the African Hit Spotify playlist, obviously we know Kante with Fave tops that one on number one. Moving on, we saw Unavailable surpassing 16 million streams on Spotify. Amazing one for Davido. We saw Davido at the bootleg Kev podcast where he came out to speak like a lot, and then he said before the interview began, we saw when the interviewer asked him and said or introducing him and said Davido is like the Jay-Z of Afrobeat. Obviously, like you are the emblem of Afrobeat. So when we talk about Afrobeat, you talk about Davido. And then he's saying he sees Davido to be the Jay-Z of Afrobeat. Moving on, we saw where Davido spoke about Drake influence in Afrobeat, and then he's saying that um, Drake, he said it would be lying if he says Drake was not a big part of Afrobeat going international. But then the fact that Drake jumped on it, saw it, and then worked on some project with Afrobeat artists, it brought the spotlight from that end to Afrobeat. Let me remind you that on Spotify, Drake is like the top listener ever in history. On Spotify, like it has like the number one playlist, number one numbers, number one charts. Drake owns Spotify, so basically he's saying Drake was Drake is that person or one of the persons that actually brought the spotlight to Afrobeat. Moving on, we saw where he came out to talk about his collaboration with Nas, and then he said that was an amazing one when they did that project. Moving on, we saw an available video on YouTube surpassing 14 million views on YouTube, and amazing one for Davido on that one. We saw Davido linking up with Chris Brown somewhere in the US, and whenever two artists link up like this, the conversation is, are we expecting a collaboration? Mind you, we know of a deluxe going to be happening very, very soon. So is this meeting one meeting to set up for deluxe? Is it like a meeting to have collaboration so that they can have a proper deluxe? Which of this song would Davido want to feature artist on? Like all of these questions, Davido needs to give us answers to them. Is Chris Brown going to be on the deluxe? By the way, Davido promised us that in the month of December he will be bringing Chris Brown to Nigeria and all of that. So is Chris Brown going to, is this meeting for the deluxe project? Is Chris Brown going to be meeting or is Chris going to be on the deluxe album? All of those conversations, we cannot wait to get answers to all of them. In the meantime, we saw Davido actually not going alone, obviously linking Pokoli and introducing him to Chris Brown. Amazingly, growing up as a child, we have dancers at the time. We have Michael Jackson, we had like the ushers, and trust me, Chris Brown was one of the top dancers we've had like ever. Like the break dance to the flexibility of body, all of that. Chris Brown was an amazing dancer growing up as a child, and obviously Davido linking Pokoli to Chris Brown, it just shows the fact that he has a very big heart. He could have gone alone. He could have just said Pokoli stay in the car or do something, but then he chose to actually introduce Pokoli to the legend himself, Chris Brown. That was an amazing one. By the way, Pokoli came out to say, Davido did, gratitude king. This is legendary. Thank you, baddest 01. Thank you, Tunji, and obviously love emoji. Big one to Pokoli on that one. Davido actually commented saying, Otilom, and what it means is gone. Amazing one for Davido and the bromance between him and Pokoli. Moving on, we have Rema as the next guy on the news. Already for the Hot 100 Billboard, Rema is in number 5. And then for the Afrobeat charts in the US, Rema remains number 1, spending 37 weeks at the top. And moving on from this one, we saw for India, Rema is now eligible for 15 platinum in India, making him like one of the most buzzing guy ever in the street of India. Moving on, we saw Rema surpassing 1.3 billion streams for Rave and Rose Ultra at the time. 1.3 billion streams. We saw where he announced the world tour, and then this is going to be in places like Miami, Barcelona, Curacao, Soname, Madrid, Porto, Reims, Paris, Rock Slides, Marmande, Montrez, Leach, Tosberg, um, Israel, Czech Republic, amazing places. He says he's going to be there for his world tour. We have dates, we have venues for all of this tour, and then he's saying he's doing them this year. Amazing one. I'm sure they're going to be announcing more dates and more venues, but in the meantime, we are sure of these places beginning from the 28th of May and going to span through to the 31st of August. Tel Aviv is going to end that part of it. By the way, he said what Rema and Rose's World Tour 2, so we might have a World Tour 3 in coming days anyways, but then amazing one to Rema on that one. Moving on, we saw Rema coming out to say big thank you to the people of India for the kind reception, for embracing me with open arms, for coming out in huge numbers, for celebrating me like your own. You have a special place in my heart forever. Love India. Rema is saying he love all the Indian folks for the love they showed him over time. Moving on, we saw at the time we saw Rema 1.3 for Rave and Roses Ultra, but now Rema across all credits on Spotify, Rema has amassed 1.9 billion career stream on Spotify. Amazing numbers. In no beats, it's going to be about 2 billion. But as we speak, Rema is on 1.9 billion career streams on Spotify. But then if you do the maths, yeah, Rave and Roses Ultra is about 1.3 billion. So what it means is 600 million is shared across the rest projects. Wow. Amazing one for that one. Moving on, we have BadBoyTimz as the last guy on the news. We saw where he came out for an interview to explain what happened in the former labor issues. He said he was illegally arrested and it was like a kidnap because he thought he was arrested, or he thought it was an arrest, and then he was like, okay, let's go. But then they took him like to spaces he didn't know, and obviously not like a police station. So according to him, he said they kidnapped him, but obviously it's in the past because they've all moved their separate ways. Moving on, we saw where they were talk about BadBoyTimz and Davido having a song, and obviously Davido came out to say, you know what, that song cannot hold because this year I'm not having any feature with anybody. This year it is just Davido and Davido, no feature. Sad to BadBoyTimz actually, but then it would be nice to see a Davido and BadBoyTimz together actually. But Davido have said this year, no features, just me and me. And then he said maybe only Young John, but for BadBoyTimz, I'm sorry, no features this year. Moving on, we saw the sound. This actually the sound, and then people were like, if you're saying BadBoyTimz should not post the song, are you going to have it on your timeless project on the deluxe? You know, all this conversation about the deluxe project here, people are just having thoughts about it because we have seen so many songs. We have one when the Cole that didn't come on the Cole's album. We have one with he has like amazing songs everywhere. And this song did not come out like at the right space and all of that. So are we gonna have him on the Deluxe project? All of these questions need serious answers too. But then we are sure that he have said by teams take down that post because this year I'm not gonna have any feature with anybody. Maybe only Young John. Moving on, we saw BadBoyTimz and Zlatan in the studio creating new music and obviously you know when these two come together, it's going to be a banger. They dropped the song. It's an amazing one to behold at the time. Moving on, we saw BadBoyTimz coming out to explain that at the point when he was 9 years old, he said he was shot in the eyes. Wow. This is where we say what God cannot do does not exist. They said they were driving in Mushi with the family, the dad, the mom, him, and the siblings in the car, and they were like an assassin because they didn't ask for anything. They just came to the front of the car and they started shooting all of that. And then he said bullets pierced his close to the eye and all of that. And then he said, "Well, thank God he's here." They went to hospital, did all of that. But the good thing is that incident did not take his life. If not, we might not know about what teams is. But the fact that he spared him, it shows God really wanted him for something great, and he is doing that thing great at the moment. Big one to the BadBoyTimz, and then we all are so happy you are alive. Anyways, guys, we've come to the end of this one. It's cold out there. Make sure you're careful. Look at the bus before you enter the bus. Don't just see it's bad enough that security is a bit not too cool, but then you can just help yourself to be secured. Look properly before you go. Don't walk at night. If you must go anywhere, make sure it's in the day and tell somebody you're going out. Security tips from me to you. I love you.